lovely and talented co-pilot, not just for the show today, but in life in many ways. Good morning, Kay.
Good morning, everybody. How you all doing today?
Well, I think everybody is thawing out, and let's be honest, after listening, and by the way, you are listening to WWDB AM 860, so you were all just listening to the invigorating Gregorian chant hour leading into us, and we hope to keep that tradition going, but we're so excited to be joining you today, which will be every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m., where we talk about not just things happening in the Fishtown, Kensington corridor, but really Philadelphia. The stakeholders and people that make really our commercial corridor second to none as an international destination spot, but also the influencers, the public officials, the community partners, the titans of industry that make things happen for us and make the world, help bring about the world we want to see. A little bit about us, because you're wondering, why do we even have this show? Besides, let's be honest, hearing me speak. But we really want to talk about how special it is to be part of the Fishtown District, which is located just northeast of Center City, Philadelphia. Our active business corridor encompasses world-renowned restaurants, outstanding taverns, boutique hotels, and the unrivaled Fillmore concert venue. The area, which includes businesses along Frankfort Avenue, Girard Avenue, and North Front Street, is rich in history and features culinary delights, modern and traditional art, and a vibrant nightlife. But it's even more so, Kay, than just the delicious food, the fabulous spirits, the unique retail, and outstanding professional services. It's the people.
Absolutely.
The thing that really, and it's not just a Fishtown, Kensington story. This is a Philadelphia story. This is your show. Well, we're going to bring everybody here who has really invested their time, their talent, and their treasure into making our corridor really the envy of urban redevelopment in the United States. And what's so extraordinary is those people that it is Philadelphia and how they've many ways come from nothing except from an idea and chose our area to develop. And that's really the most important story, and that's what we want to tell today. And without further ado, as you dig yourselves out and get yourself here, it was nice, Kay, to have a couple snow days. I don't know that I remember taking as many naps as I have, but we're back at it. So we have some special guests with us today, and we want to start with one of the newer, more unique, dynamic institutions on our corridor called Fabrika. I always tell people, Kay, it is the cross between fine dining, venue performance, and Cirque du Soleil. And with us today, we have General Manager of this great institution, Mike Sobolewski. Good morning, Mike, and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
We can. We can hear you loud and clear. How are you today?
You said thawing out. That's a good kind of summary of it. It's quite cold and miserable, but I ended up waking up early to shovel snow outside before it turned into ice.
You are nothing if not an inspiration, Mike. I just want you to know that.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me on too. It's bright and early, but I'm happy to be here.
A little bit, Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into Fabrika, because certainly you're no stranger to the industry. What made you get into it, and how did you end up at Fabrika?
It's kind of an interesting story. I started in Atlantic City, so I was managing. The first place I managed was called Tony's Baltimore Grill. I was real young. I was only around 18 when I started managing. Then through a couple, odd sets of circumstances, I actually came to own a mini golf course, or a partial ownership of a mini golf course on Mississippi Avenue. So between like managing and then also managing the mini golf course, I was a very busy person. Around 19, I sold out because Atlantic City obviously took kind of a strange downward spiral. The restaurant industry got hit really hard. I ended up just kind of wanting to relocate. And it was right around the time when my parents lost their home. They fell behind on their mortgage. Times were tough. And my sister and I decided to basically use what we had to buy a new home in Cherry Hill for my parents. So naturally, I went with them for a little while and tried to find new opportunities in Philly because I mean Atlantic City was kind of a dead market. So I started just managing this little spot called South House in South Philly, where I was at for a number of years. It was around 3 years, and I mean it was very very interesting. I mean that area, that neighborhood is super vibrant and like super tight. It was the epitome of like a neighborhood bar, but I managed to learn quite a bit. But that was my initial kind of introduction into Philly. So I was there for 3 years as bar manager, general manager, and one thing led to another, and the set of circumstances that led me to Fabrika were kind of like it's serendipitous. I was just at the right place at the right time. I came here on an open call where I happened to meet the owners. And I mean, it was just an open interview. I think there was maybe 20 of us in there at the time. And I mean, when you first walk into the venue, it's like, it's stunning. A lot of people still don't know that we're here. And, I'll get into that in a little bit as well. But, I remember my first time walking in here and just being like, wow, like it's a stunning place. So I managed to meet the owners, and I mean, we kind of hit it off. We checked a lot of boxes that, I checked a lot of boxes that they were looking for here, and I was onboarded. It was around the end of last December, but it was really really special. I had like this just particular feeling when I walked in here that this place was going to be something great, and I was just happy to be a part of it at the time. But yeah, I mean, like the initial kind of introduction to Philly, it was just right place, right time, happenstance, and now I'm like completely embedded. I feel like I'm here for life, and it's like it's a great thing. I love the city, I love the energy, and yeah, super happy here.
And you love Fishtown. I think you were going to get to that, weren't you?
Fishtown is my favorite part of the city by far, absolutely. And I mean, getting to know you, Mark, and the Fishtown bid, and everything through the past year has been like kind of it's been great. Although this year's been kind of difficult, to say the least. It's been amazing becoming a part of the community and getting to know everybody, and making these friends and connections. And although this year 2020 has been miserable in a lot of ways, it has a silver lining in it as well.
And we're going to get to that. First, I want to go back to 1 second just because my eyes lit up, Mike, when you said Tony's Baltimore Grill. And I recall my younger days when I had hair and would show up for, I think, for $5, you could get a pizza and a plate of spaghetti. Were you in charge of putting the duct tape on the seats to cover up all the rips?
No, at one point in time, I do remember that someone had a knife in their back pocket and stabbed through it, though. So I was there for that. It was it can be a rough place for sure, and it definitely teaches you some like very trial by fire style management. Very reactive and case by case. So it's like it's a really cool place, and it's a staple for Atlantic City. But it was just one of many down there. I was around. There's a bar called Maloney's. There's a bar called.
You're bringing up all of my college years, Mike. But let me ask you a question, because certainly I believe Fabrika opened on Frankfurt Avenue in February of this year.
So yeah, we had during January we had a series of soft openings, but they weren't considered a grand opening. Our grand opening was actually last year yesterday, so February 2nd.
Mazel tov.
Yeah, it was cool to kind of hit that milestone. But as far as the year, we actually were renovating the space. Before I got here, but the owners and the construction team were renovating the space for 2 years prior to February 2nd, yesterday. So they actually spent 2.5 years, 6 months. They were petitioning the neighborhood just to kind of get signatures and make sure everybody was comfortable with them coming in. Which was a very respectable kind of thing to do. I think that was like kind of a stand-up thing, because I believe the notion was they didn't want to be perceived as like an invading force to Fishtown.
Sure.
They wanted to start off on the right foot, so the petitioning helped quite a bit.
And Mike, if I can, because by the way, Kay, if we had 3 hours, Mike could fill it himself. God love him. No, you're doing great, but. you heard me describe Fabrika as sort of a cross between, fine dining, a concert venue, and Cirque du Soleil. Could you tell the public exactly what Fabrika is and where it is?
Yeah, so we're right next to the Barcade on Frankfurt Avenue. Real close to the Fillmore, real close to Rivers Casino. In between Girard and Columbus. It's a fantastic concept. I mean, like there's definitely nothing like it. I like the description that you used. We use just modern cabaret dinner theater, but it's difficult to kind of give it a title because it's like this completely new experience. We fuse live performance with high quality dining as well. We're trying to find that perfect description because when you come in here, there really is nothing like it. I really like the modern Moulin Rouge that we use to describe it now. The decor is like a modern industrial Art Deco, and the performances can range. We call it a variety show. When people call and make reservations, we don't even necessarily give them a description of the show. We just want them to come in and be surprised because you'll come in, you'll see a trapeze artist swinging from the ceilings. You'll see fire breathing. You'll see a magician. You'll see burlesque. You'll see drag. You'll see opera singing, and the part of the appeal is that you never actually know what you're going to see. So we kind of try and keep it moving and keep it dynamic from a show to show basis.
Why Fishtown? Why did you guys choose to come to our commercial corridor? And by the way, we are thrilled to have you there. So there's really nothing like it in our region.
It was kind of an opportunistic moment. The building itself was one of, I think, 5 different choices, but Fishtown itself is just it's exploding, and we wanted to be a part of that kind of up and up. We wanted to hit a neighborhood and embed ourselves in a neighborhood that we knew would have like a long future, like a prosperous future. And Fishtown, its development is like probably second to none in Philadelphia. The neighborhood is growing, it's expanding, the businesses are booming, and I think even through COVID, I know not everybody made it, but we're going to see a beautiful light at the end of the tunnel as far as like economics go.
I'm sorry. And speaking of that beautiful light in COVID, so you guys open up. You're open up probably 2 months, and it's funny, the Fishtown District starts around the same time, and then the world turns upside down. And one of the things that has been so amazing, not just with the story of Fabrika, which we're going to get into, but all of our restaurants, taverns, retail shops, other businesses, how creative and how quick they've been able to pivot to be able to serve their patrons, serve them well, maintain that quality, that Fishtown quality that we all know, and also stay in business, because I know how difficult that is. And certainly, I tell everybody, somehow Fabrika managed to create, within guidelines, the same type of facility outside. So tell us a little bit about that, Mike.
So it's crazy to operate for 5 weeks and then a pandemic hit. We basically started February 2nd, and midway through March we had to shut down. During those 5 weeks, we managed to gather a lot of data as far as what people expect from us, what kind of numbers we can generate, what policies and procedures we should follow as a company in order to ensure the best form of service that we can provide. We learned a lot during those 5 weeks, and after the shutdown happened, I mean, I guess the title of the year could be like adaptability. It's every single chance the city had to complicate things for us, it kind of did. Not pointing fingers or talking negatively about the city. They were doing what they needed to do to keep the public safe, or what they thought keeping the public safe would entail. So it feels like every twist and turn we had to dodge a new hit and adapt to it. And every single update to the regulations, we had to change our operations in some capacity or build around what they wanted us to do. And obviously for a couple of months we were completely inactive until yellow phase hit in the summer, and then we decided to open the outdoor section. which was myself, the owners, and a handful of others that literally built the outdoor section. And I think there's a lot of credit that goes to the local businesses and the businesses in Center City and all around Philadelphia for just the ingenuity of the teams. You see owners outside with a nail gun and 2x4s trying to make sure that they build things up to par, up to standard. And we were no exception. We built our outdoor section in, I think, 3 weeks as like a result of the announcement that we can open outside. We had no intentions of making it happen prior. We had a plan for the space, but we were not ready. We had to kind of really think on our feet to make sure that like we could do something unique and specifically on brand. We wanted the outside to be a representation of what we do inside, and I think we definitely accomplished that. I remember we had these massive beams from the renovation on the inside. They were probably around 1,200 pounds a piece, these massive wooden beams. We ended up taking those beams and shaving them down into the tables that we used for service outside. We teamed up with a couple of local businesses to cross promote, specifically shout out to Stateside, shout out to Two Robbers, Sly Fox, Liberty Tent Rentals. They kind of came in to help us with promotion, and Liberty Tents helped us with the housing tent. But yeah, it was an effort, that we all put in to kind of make it happen. It was a beautiful thing. We saw good business. Obviously, it was more about floating and surviving rather than turning a profit, because we just wanted to see that light at the end of the tunnel. And during the summer, there was no guarantee, there was no promise of the regulations lifting.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
And I love to hear you talk, but we got to pay some bills, so we're going to take a break here on Find It in Fishtown Live with Marc Collazzo and Kay Anderson. By the way, if you want to be part of our show, call us at toll-free 888-329-3306. That's 888-329-3306. We'll be right back.
Do you let other people order for you at a restaurant?
He'll have the Sobolewski.
No, I won't.
Or pick the movie you're going to see?
She'd like a ticket to Attack on Rage Mountain.
Really?
Yeah, come on. So why would you let others make all the important decisions about how your life is going to be when you get older? I mean, is it okay with you if your kids decide where you're going to live?
My kids? Are you out?
Are you kidding?
Or perfect strangers choose who will be taking care of you?
Not gonna happen.
No,
Better visit longtermcare.gov, the trusted information site that helps you find your own path forward without selling you anything. It takes you step by step through everything you need to consider about aging and all your options. Longtermcare.gov. Stay in charge by planning now or pay later.
How about a mohawk?
How about a mohawk? How about I put my foot right... Oh, hi, honey.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me.
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. And in math, I learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today...
The only thing I didn't learn today...
The only thing I didn't learn...
is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
And we are back. By the way, you can't see it in the studio, but my lovely co-pilot was actually getting down to that intro music. Gotta love that. Good choice to our producer. You are listening to Find It in Fishtown Live with Marc Collazzo and the Share to My Sonny, Kay Anderson. This broadcast and every broadcast for Find It in Fishtown Live is brought to you by the fabulous Fishtown District, located just northeast of Center City, Philadelphia. Our active business corridor encompasses world-renowned restaurants, outstanding taverns, boutique hotels, and the unrivaled Fillmore concert venue and Fabrika. The area, which includes businesses along Frankfurt Avenue, Girard Avenue, and North Front Street, is rich in history and features culinary delights, modern and traditional art, and a vibrant nightlife. Always remember, when you want the best, find it in Fishtown. Always check us out at fishtowndistrict.com and on social media at the Fishtown District. And if you want to be part of the show today, have any questions, want to talk about how much you love our corridor, give us a call at 888-329-3306. That's 888-329-3306 on WWDB AM 860. Mike, getting back to you, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you've now been able to make some really beautiful changes to adapt to COVID. How have things been going for you in Fabrika?
It's I guess it's an interesting kind of like transition, moving from the outdoor in the summer and that slow pace back inside. We're doing quite well. I mean, quite well in the sense that we're keeping floating and business is moving. There's no shortage of demand to come here. We have unfortunately only a 25% restriction on indoor dining, but we ended up during the outdoor kind of revival when we had to move from indoor to outdoor again. We ended up building a new section out there and expanding on what we did in the summer, kind of transforming that into its own unique venue that we call Fabrika Terrace. We have some really cool plans for that moving forward, but moving inside was tough. We can only do 4 per table, 6 feet apart, but the venue that we have here is absolutely huge. It's 565 max capacity. So for us, 25% is still 144-ish. But just trying to make sure that everybody's comfortable and spaced out in a way that they could still see the show. They don't feel like they're in, a bad section or I guess like nosebleeds. We want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable and safe. The guidelines, we follow to a T, and we try and make everybody feel absolutely safe when they come here because, I mean, it's still a lot of people, so that's been one of our challenges. Obviously, you have to wear a mask when you enter. If you're on your feet, you have to wear a mask. We have hand washing stations or hand sanitation stations that we had set up. I think there's 12 of them in the dining room space. Signage everywhere, and we tripled security. And that's a cost that we're happy to dish out in order to make sure that people feel comfortable. But we're doing well. I mean, it's okay. We just want to see the light of day again and open as normal. But we want to make sure that it's okay to do so. I understand that the city's in a position where they want to keep people safe, and we do too. We're just really looking forward to that day where we can start doing bar service and open the 3rd bar upstairs that we're planning to open and do everything that we kind of wanted to do in order to, really come into our own,
Mike, I think you have to learn to come out of your shell a little bit and talk a little bit. You're very, very shy on the radio. Has anyone ever told you that?
Yeah, I was thinking to myself before I came in, I'm like, oh man, I really hope I could fill 20 minutes. And then I'm
you have. As we have a whole cavalcade of stars today. Before we go, where's Fabrika? How do we find it, and how do we make reservations?
So Instagram is at Fabrika Philly. We're at 1108 Frankfurt Avenue here in Fishtown. Our number is 215-203-0202. You call us for direct reservations, or you can make reservations on Open Table.
Mike, thanks so much for being with us today. And one quick thing: craziest performance you've ever seen in Fabrika?
Man, it was probably one of the first things that I saw here. We had a sword swallower that actually lit a sword on fire before she swallowed it. And I think at that point in time, I'm like, yeah, this place is really, really awesome,
For the record, kids, don't try that at home.
Absolutely not.
Try that at home.
Kids,
well, yeah.
I'm not trying that at home. You kidding me? But I'll tell you this, you had me at sword swallowing, so we will be there, buddy. Mike, thanks again. Continued great work, and we're so thrilled to have you in the Fishtown District.
Really appreciate it, guys. We're glad to be here, and thanks again for having me.
Absolutely. Next on our cavalcade, Kay, why don't you do the introductions?
Well, we have none other than the wonderful Emily from Rivers Casino. How you doing today, Emily?
Hey guys, good morning.
What's up, superstar? How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, boss.
How's everything in the frozen tundra of Somerton?
Yeah, the far northeast was totally snowed in, but luckily the streets department did a miraculous job plowing and salting, and it was actually surprisingly easy getting out of the neighborhood today.
Well, thank God.
So kudos to the city.
So Em, what you are at really one of our anchors in the district, the Rivers Casino, formerly the Sugar House. Before we get into how well you guys and how difficult it's been to transition during COVID, tell us a little bit. How long have you been there? What do you do? And what are some of the great things happening over at the casino?
Yeah, well, it's nice to be considered an anchor, and I appreciate you saying that. I'm going to be at Rivers 5 years on March 15th, and it goes by so quickly. And at Rivers, I'm the community relations manager for the property. So that means that I make sure that Greater Philadelphia and everybody that lives here knows that Rivers is a proud community partner, that we're a supportive neighbor, not just in Fishtown, but in all of Philadelphia and Greater Philadelphia, and that we're a diverse and inclusive and great place to work with over 1,400 mostly full-time team members that work here. And we've been very proud of the fact that we've been able to support our team members, not just in the first shutdown, but even during the second shutdown by helping with benefits and providing assistance to team members that were furloughed, and being able to welcome everybody back when we reopened on January 4th. We've been very blessed and fortunate because the hospitality industry is suffering, but it's been so reassuring to know that the company wants to make sure that not just are we open and safe for our guests that are coming through the door, but for our team members that are working here as well.
Great. And Emily, I know that Rivers is open for business, but for those of our listeners who might not have been in the last month or so, can you explain what exactly is open and some of your COVID procedures that make it safe?
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole property is open with the exception of our marketplace, food court, and our event center. We still are strictly following the regulations set forth by the city of Philadelphia. We want to make sure that we are doing everything by the books and we are safe. So for people that want to come and whether you want to grab a bite at one of our restaurants like Hugo's Frog Bar and Chop House or Mian or Jack's Bar and Grill, hit the slots or play your favorite table game, as soon as you walk through the door, your temperature is going to be taken. And of course you have to wear a mask. But not only that, those are, the basic things, but we have over 150 sanitizing stations throughout property. So whether it's a squirt of hand sanitizer or a wipe, they're scattered all throughout so that you feel comfortable when you're at the slot machine or if you just want to freshen up and sanitize your hands. But something that I think is most exciting is that we have an air purifier and sanitation system that kills 99.9% of airborne and surface viruses, including coronavirus. And I think that is really exceptional because this is probably one of the safest places that you can go to and enjoy yourself and know that everything is sanitized and safe. And on top of that, we took extra steps to make sure that when you are at the blackjack table or at your favorite slot machine, that we have plexiglass that separates you with the other player or other machine, and that we've also spread out the seating so that you're not sitting as close to somebody as you would before everything happened with coronavirus. So the company put a lot of thought and effort. We worked very hard with the city of Philadelphia to make sure that we were not just following the protocols, but going above and beyond for all of the safety measures. And for our team members too, we have plenty of behind the scenes safety measures for our team members, whether it's providing masks, thermometers so they can take their temperatures at home, and a good support system so that they do feel safe when they're coming into work. I'm very proud to be able to work for a company like Rivers that takes such great caution and care, not just for the customers, but for the team members as well.
And we also know that you have a pretty big weekend coming up over at Rivers Casino this weekend with the Super Bowl this week. Can you talk to us a little bit about your sports betting and what people can expect from that area?
Yeah, absolutely. Now that everyone's digging out and the news is shifting from the big snowstorm to the Super Bowl, I know people are probably trying to figure out, how can I safely watch the big game and not go to you can't go to a big house party anymore, and you can't go to a packed bar anymore. But Rivers has a couple different promos going on this weekend. So at Jack's Bar and Grill, it's going to have specials like dollar wings and drink specials and other food specials. Plus we have tons of TVs in Jack's Bar and Grill, so you can get that nice restaurant experience of sitting down, having that bar experience at a table, and watch the big game. And we also have our sports books for sports betting. So if you like to bet on the games or you want to try your luck, you can either go to Bet Rivers on your own on the app and bet on the game from your phone, or you can come on property and come to our kiosk or to our sportsbook ticket window to place your bet. So there's a lot of exciting things happening at Rivers for the big game. It's going to look a little different. We're not going to be as packed as we've been in the past. I think everybody's kind of going through that, but we're still going to have that great experience. High definition monitors all throughout the gaming floor, plus our huge monitor in the sports book that you can view from pretty much anywhere in the casino. So it's definitely a great place to come and watch the game and get that great live action experience.
It sounds like, and I give you guys all the credit in the world, because in many ways, what Rivers has gone through has been much more difficult than, let's say, just a restaurant. And believe me, everyone's gone through it. It's been a very difficult thing. It sounds like most of the things in Rivers are now open, correct?
Yeah, with the exception of our food court and our event center. And again, that's in accordance with the city guidelines that we're following. But, we're a high traffic area. We're a big property. There's, a lot of people that come and go, whether they just want to come in for 15 minutes on their lunch break or spend a few hours here, or even make it a night out. It feels good to know that it's a great destination to break out of the monotony of sitting at home and watching Netflix.
Because we've all run out of things to watch on Netflix. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, I watched everything over the snow day. I don't have anything left, so I'm happy to be back to work.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a real quick break, but when we come back, we will introduce our next guest. So stay on the line, Emily, and we'll be right back.
Being there matters, and in a world that can be uncertain, your United States Navy protects and defends America on the oceans. Where there are threats against America, anywhere around the globe, your Navy ships, submarines, aircraft, and most importantly, tens of thousands of America's finest young men and women are ready to defend America at all times. When pirates threaten commerce, your Navy is there to ensure the world's oceans are safe and free from attacks. When disaster strikes, like the typhoon that devastated the Philippines in 2013, your Navy was there, providing medical supplies and relief to those in need. When drug traffickers attempt to use the ocean to ferry narcotics to our borders, your Navy is there defending America. Your Navy is deployed around the world, around the clock, always ready. When it comes to protecting and defending America, being there matters, and America's Navy is already there.
Hi, I'm Ice-T. As a veteran, I know that for many former servicemen and women, the battle doesn't always end when they come home. Every day, 184 veterans are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress, and sadly, 20 take their own lives. When nothing else helps, professionally trained service dogs can. American Humane, serving the U.S. military for over 100 years, rescues animals in need of forever homes and trains them to become free life-saving service dogs for our nation's veterans. If you're a veteran or know a veteran struggling with post-traumatic stress or traumatic brain injury, please go to AmericanHumane.org to learn about their Pups for Patriots program. Let's give our veterans a fighting chance.
We are back. I love this music. I know you do too. You're listening to Fight It in Fishtown Live with Marc Collazzo and the Marie to my Donnie, Kay Anderson. This show is brought to you by the Fishtown District, located just northeast of Center City, Philadelphia. Our active business corridor encompasses world-renowned restaurants, outstanding taverns, boutique hotels, and the unrivaled Fillmore concert venue. The area, which includes businesses along Frankfort Avenue, Girard Avenue, and North Front Street, is rich in history and features culinary delights, modern and traditional art, and a vibrant nightlife. For more information about the Fishtown District, go to fishtowndistrict.com or at the Fishtown District on social media. And please feel free to call in on WWDB AM 860 and 888-329-3306. That's 888-329-3306. We were talking to the lovely and talented Emily Donez of the Rivers Casino. And one of the things that I think most people don't know is how invested Rivers Casino is in the Fishtown, Kensington communities and how much you give back. And we certainly know it, having worked with you on several events. Could you kind of tell everybody why that's so important, some of the things you've been able to do with us this year?
Sorry, I was on mute.
That's okay.
So, while Rivers Casino isn't officially within the bid district mapping, we still are signed on as kind of like a neighbor partner. But, Marc, between you and, Matt from the Fillmore and Rivers, I like to call us like the trifecta of brainstorming because, whenever we've come up with an event or program that we've wanted to do, the three of us always just kind of end up brainstorming together and bringing in our other stakeholders from businesses and our neighbors and our other, neighbor organizations like FNA, and we always figure out a way to make it work and make it great and special for Fishtown. And I want to talk about what we've done over the Christmas holiday because I think that was something that was just so remarkable. And to our listeners out there, Christmas and the holiday season was really hard this year because you couldn't go to the mall and get pictures with Santa, and schools were shut down, so you couldn't have like the kids' Christmas party, and it was just kind of like bleak and very, very sad. And we wanted to make something special for the children. So everybody in the Fishtown bid and businesses, the police district, and all of our volunteers came together, and we had a candy cane lane at the Fillmore for all the children and for the families too. And Marc, I think at the high point, there was almost an hour wait to come in and drive through the candy cane lane at the Fillmore and get a picture with Santa Claus safely from your car. We had our stakeholders, businesses, Fishtown neighbors, the police district, Rivers, volunteers handing out candy, hot chocolate, stockings. Marc dressed up. What did you dress up as?
I was a Christmas tree.
A Christmas tree.
And let's not forget our favorite angry elf. He was there as well.
Sergeant Mazzy. It was just so nice to see everybody come together. Any differences were put aside, and it was all just for the kids and the family. And to see that Christmas magic happen right before our eyes in one of the bleakest times of our recent memory and history, that gave me a lot of hope for 2021. And it's really a testament to the people that live in Fishtown and the people that work here and have a stake in this community, to see everybody come together and just do something magical and fantastic and make it great, make it safe. I wanted to bring up that holiday event because we weren't really able to do everything that the bid planned this year. Like you mentioned before, you were here for 2 months before everything shut down. And you completely had to revamp your whole strategy, just like Mike from Fabrika, us at Rivers, everybody. But you didn't let that hold you down, and you still made it great. And I know the plans that you have coming up for 2021 are just as special and remarkable. But the Fishtown bid really set its footprint in the community. Like, hey, we're here, we're working with everybody, and we are here to unite the community, unite the stakeholders, and just make this the vibrant, fantastic business destination that we all know it can be. I'm going to stop talking. I get very emotional when I talk about all the good work that we do, because I could just go on for hours and hours, because, it's something that I don't think you can find anywhere else in the city. And, I'm going to be biased. We do it the best.
There's no argument here, Em. And listen, we also, Kay and I, get like that because we invest all of ourselves into trying to help, trying to make our corridor better, make it grow. And none of it's easy. Everyone is struggling, and we are mindful of that. And, it takes me back to why we're doing this show. Again, it's the people. It's the stories just like this, and the people like you, who, by the way, I believe you were chosen as the top 40 under 40, weren't you?
Yeah, I had 2 years to slide.
Kudos.
Congratulations.
From the Philadelphia Business Journal.
Well, it's well-deserved, partner. And let me tell you, we couldn't do what we do without the Rivers support. That Christmas event went so well. We had one the next week where kids could come to Santa's workshop and take socially distanced pictures. So it was nice to be able to give back, and it was so nice to see, at Candy Cane Lane, almost 600 cars line up to do that. So, thank you for all that Rivers does. Anything that people want to do, how to to online, to reach out to Rivers?
Yeah, there's a couple. Well, first of all, Marc, it's so hard to say no to you, and I think that's why so many people
Thank
just
you.
jump on. But how could you say no to something that's so good and pure and wholesome for businesses and the community and bringing people together? But you certainly have a way with words, and that gift of gab that helps drive that message across.
This is the best show ever.
Rivers Casino Philadelphia it's not just a gaming destination, that's first and foremost, but we are your community partner and your friend. And we do offer sponsorships and donations to people in the community. And, if you have a program that's going on that is giving back to the residents of Philadelphia, I'd love to hear about it. You can go on our website, riverscasinophiladelphia.com/community, and there is a form you can fill out that comes right to me. And then you can also go on the website to find out more information about Bet Rivers, to place your sports bets, or play Sugar House for online gaming, and just, learn more about our amenities, sign up to hear about the latest offers. And, we hope to see you, especially for the Super Bowl. But, as things warm up and things start to open back up later this year, there's going to be a lot of exciting events that we have planned. So thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for everything you do. One last question: Kansas City or Tampa?
The red team.
Atta girl. Atta girl.
Oh, wow.
She closed strong, ladies and gentlemen. So far, if you want to take out everything from our conversation, I am part of a brain trust, which I don't think has ever been said before, and no one can say no to me. So we're literally sending this entire show to the Smithsonian and the Broadcast Hall of Fame. So, thanks for everything you do. Thank you, Rivers, and we know we're going to see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Last but not least, I'm patiently waiting next to me is one of our favorite community partners. One of the things at the Fishtown District that we find so very important is education, in helping our neighborhood youth and creating the future business leaders and entrepreneurs to continue our good health in our commercial corridor for decades to come. And the person I'm going to introduce now, there's no one doing it better. There's no one more committed. We are thrilled to have Mike Marrone, president of Liguori Academy High School in scenic Port Richmond. Would it Port Richmond, Kensington? What would you call that?
That's a tough one. I don't know. It's all the above.
It's south of Lehigh, so I believe that's Kensington.
Okay.
Old Richmond.
We're taking it.
That's it.
We're so thrilled to have you as a partner. Welcome, Mike, and thanks for being so patient and listening. But whenever people want to talk about Fishtown and Kensington, you can see they can gush a little bit. Now we're going to gush about you, my friend.
Oh, I appreciate that.
So right off the bat, why Liguori?
Because we individualize the educational experience for students. We personalize it. So we are the answer to an old problem, which is education cannot be a cookie-cutting solution for every kid. It can't look the same. It can't be the same for every student. It has to be different. And so Liguori, we really center in on the individualization of the student, aware of their strengths and their weaknesses, meeting students at promise and not at a deficit. So that's what really makes us unique in our approach. And then taking that to the next level where we anticipate that every student who graduates from Liguori Academy is career ready and also college ready. We're not a CTE school, so it's not a career technical educational program, but we're a school that heightens awareness in careers. And so we provide students the opportunity to explore different career paths and their electives through internships, work experiences, career cohorts, certifications. At the same time, we're preparing them also to be prepared to go to college or some post-secondary educational experience for when they graduate.
Mike, what I always found you and the school so extraordinary is, like, you created this. This is your baby. What made you do it?
Besides the fact that I'm crazy.
Where the best ideas come from, my friend.
That's exactly it. I think in education, there needs to be someone who had to be a disruptor. If you look at the education today, there's really not an alternative approach to education that's really affordable or that's accessible for students. And so I felt that in the city, especially in the Kensington community, we need to offer that difference. I spent years in Catholic education. My last assignment was working at West Catholic High School. I'm a firm believer of Catholic education, and I'm a firm believer of public education. But I think there had to be a mix that came in. There had to be someone who came into the middle and said, there has to be something different. We have to have a different approach in meeting the needs of the students. And so my passion was education from the time I graduated from LaSalle University. And I just felt that, it was time. It was time for somebody to be that disruptor. And so hence Liguori Academy.
And one of the things, and I know we're not going to be able to give it justice, it's one thing to want to do this. It's another thing to even have the passion to do this. Here's my question. How did you do it?
The only way I did, I'll tell you, be honest with you, number one's God's mercy. I have to say mercy, His kindness. But also, two, is the wonderful people, the support. So we had to build from the ground up. We had to build our own contacts, our own network, our own stakeholders. We have an incredible board of trustees who really oversees the governance model of the school, partnering with people like yourself in the Fishtown bid. They're great opportunities for us because that helps us to expand the network of people. Being a fairly new school, we do not have the alumni that an average high school would have. We don't have years of graduating classes. We have 2 graduating classes. In our accelerated learning program, we have 3. So our alumni is really young, and they're beginning their stage of networking. So just depending on the good people on the board who introduce you to other people and people like yourself, and really just putting it out there, not being afraid to make an ask. I think I learned that really well in life. It's not about us, it's about the kids. And so always keeping that in mind, that we're always doing what's best for the students that we serve.
But it's not a public school, and it's not a charter school.
No, we're a private school, private independent school. We're licensed by the state of Pennsylvania. We have 2 programs. We have our private school that's grades 9 through 12. And then we also, in addition to the private school, have an accelerated learning program. And that's really more for students between the ages of 15 and 21 who are over age and undercredited. So for whatever reason, they had to leave school experience, they had to go somewhere new, whatever it could have been.
And it looks like we have actually have a caller calling in. You're going to know this person. It's almost like this is your life, Mike.
I bet I can guess.
Alice, you're on the air. Oh, we lost her.
We lost her. She hung up.
We lost her. That's okay. Alice, we're thinking of you too. That's Alice Niles.
She's our COO, and she's our director of the workforce initiative at Liguori Academy. That's a perfect example. Like partnering with the bid. is incredible for us, because one of the things that we want to be able to have the students love where they come from, where they live, and therefore appreciate where they live. And so by having this partnership with the BID, we're able to form the future leaders. And when I say future leaders, students who have the essential skills, students who have the ability to enter into the different career paths. At our school, we have 3 career cohorts, we call them. And they're really 3 majors that the students can take. So they have their courses that are mandated by the state that all high schools have. The approach, again, is different. It's individualized. Teachers are constantly looking at data to understand where the students may have a difficulty, where the students have grown. So we're very data driven. But in addition to those courses, the students get to pick a career cohort. It's like a major. So in their elective courses, they can take an area of construction and the trades. They can take an area in technology and also in the arts. All 3 of them are a pathway that if they did not want to go to college now, all 3 of them are pathways to careers. So they would graduate our high school not just with their high school diploma, but with some type of certification or portfolio of work that would get them as an immediate pipeline into those career industries. And so we provide the opportunities. We're partnered with Philadelphia Works, which is an incredible organization in the city of Philadelphia in the direction of Pat Clancy. We're partnered with them. Our students go out during the course of the year. They do internships in the neighborhood. They get the experience. And so it's an incredible program for what we offer the students.
I mean, that's incredible. I think having that experiential learning is something that is super valuable for our kids, and really you can't get that inside of a classroom. And also, one of the things that's even more impressive is the relationships that these kids build with, people in the field and are able to graduate with those relationships. Can you talk a little bit more about the actual, when a kid graduates from your program and they're looking for the next step, what types of assistance you guys can provide in that way?
That's a good question, because in both programs, so in the private school and then our accelerated learning is called Fortis, in both we have a post-secondary specialist who really works individually with the students to develop a plan. But he or she doesn't work by themselves. We have the workforce development staff. So one of the promises we make to our students is that we will work with them into the age of 21.
Wow.
So if we have a student who graduates from Liguori Academy, gets into college and says, you know what, this is not where I want to be, that's a scary feeling. And so therefore, they don't have the supports at home. They know they could always come back home to us at Liguori. Same thing in the Fortis program, is that we guarantee to work with them for the age of 21. They could always come back. Our grants that we usually are used to utilize for workforce development, the students are able to be the age of 21. So we do that. We spend a lot of time individualizing. Everyone is involved in the student's post-secondary plan, from the principal to myself, to the director of workforce, the post-secondary. So it's really a team effort, which makes us very unique. It's not just a school counselor, it's a team approach to everyone really caring for the student and making sure that we have that student upon graduation following the right path.
And does that team include the students' parents too?
Sometimes it does, yep. Sometimes we always include the parents through some type of communication. A lot of times the parents will call us and say, oh my God, I can't believe my child's this far along the path, or I can't believe that they're choosing this path, or they have an idea to this path. So we always invite the parents into that process. To be honest, that's the beauty of it. It's that there's this team of people. So they're not just hearing it from one, but really from a group of people.
That's great.
Yep.
So, Mike, one of the things that I really found special about Liguori, besides the obvious with the people and the mission, is the career readiness education and programs that you provide. Now, one of the things, obviously, we're most proud of is because we're going to be doing one of those things with you. The Business Improvement District is going to be working with Liguori Academy to be creating the Fishtown District School of Business. And we want to thank our friends at the federal government for helping us out and believing in us. Because one of the things that we know makes our commercial corridor in Fishtown, Kensington so special were the entrepreneurs and business owners that chose us to fulfill their dreams, whether it's, Paul Kimport starting Johnny Brenda's before anybody was putting bars or restaurants there, the many developers, business owners, you name it. So they're going to be the professors in many ways. They're going to come in and teach these kids how to do it for themselves. We're going to get them internships, and our goal is we're creating the future business owners and entrepreneurs. So we can't wait to get started with that. In our last couple minutes, what other type of programs like that do you have at Liguori?
Sure. You know, one of the beauties of a school of our size, but not only that, just the fact that we are very active in the community is developing different partnerships. So we have a partnership with the Philadelphia Gay Men's Chorus, where our students have a curriculum. We have a partnership with another organization called Beyond the Bars, where they're learning music production. We have a partnership with Philadelphia Works, where again, it's helping us enable the students to go out and complete the internships. We just have so many different partnerships that when a student comes into Liguori Academy, there's so many, student life looks different for us. So we may not have the star football team or the star basketball team in the community, which is fine. But what we do have at Liguori are these partnerships and this part of student life that's unique. So unique in the sense that it's getting the students involved, it's getting them something that's really helping them prepare for what's going to take place upon graduation.
Our caller is back. You are on the air.
Hey, good morning. My name's Ann. How are you?
All right. How are you, Ann? Welcome to Find It in Fishtown Live.
Good, thanks. So I had a question for the man who's talking about the school. Do you guys offer financial aid?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
That's a great question. So 100% of our students who attend the private school receive financial assistance of some sort. And that's where we're really blessed with the business community who participate in the PA Educational Tax Credit, otherwise known as EITC OSTC. So yes, all of our students receive financial assistance. For the students who are in the Accelerated Learning Program in Fortis, that's a program that is paid as part of our contract with the School District of Philadelphia. So yes, Ann, that's a great question. Our students do receive financial assistance. Not one student will ever be turned away for financial purposes.
Thanks for the call, Ann, and thanks for joining us. And where did the time go? Mike, if they want to look up Liguori Academy, where do they find it in 10 seconds or less?
LIGUORI Academy.org. LiguoriAcademy.org.
Awesome. Mike, thanks for being here today. Thanks for all our guests. Mike Sobolewski from Fabrika, Emily Doñez from Rivers Casino, and most importantly, my co-host and partner, Kay Anderson. Kay, it's been a great hour.
It certainly has.
Can't wait to do it next week. Join us again this next Wednesday, 8 a.m. and every Wednesday for Find It in Fishtown Live on WWDB 860 AM. Have a great day, everybody.